What is up, my fellow nerds? Sorry I'm so late on this chapter reaction. I was over out of town at a wedding this weekend, and if you can't tell by the glasses, that shit was lit. Alright, they had the music, they had a video wall, everybody's dancing, the food was delicious, and the seat that I sat in the whole time while playing Fire Emblem Heroes on my phone and not talking to a single person was comfortable as fuck. But anyways, let's get to the chapter reaction. We're talking about chapter 370 of Hunter x Hunter. Yeah, I'm very late on this, guys, so clearly, I was trying to look into who could be the owner of Silent Majority, and I was trying to avoid Reddit, trying to avoid Twitter, but honestly, because I took so long doing this chapter reaction, I was on Reddit. I did start looking into it, and I had some feelings about who it could be, but really, the community on Reddit has dissected this so well. I'm going to leave some links in the description below on who this could be and everything we know about Silent Majority. There was a great post by Texture Surprise, Voracious Cake, and the other person is right here, one of the larger posts, Maniac Marshall. So shout out to those guys on Twitter, or girls, for putting together a ton of information, some of the most interesting stuff. Now, one of the things that I noticed in the Viz translation is that the way that Silent Majority is described is a little bit different, like the ability. So in the fan translation, it said that, my 10, Muhan, the guy who was stepping over the line and kind of pissing off Kurapika, when he stepped over the line, Silent Majority mentioned that he's not one of my 10 targets, which makes it seem like the Silent Majority is intentionally targeting 10 people, whereas in the Viz translation, it says that he's not one of the 10 targets, within my range. So that changes the way we need to interpret Silent Majority's ability. One of the other things is that Silent Majority uses the word ore, which is used by males to describe oneself. Boku, ore, watashi, all of those ways to say I, basically. So Silent Majority, the owner of Silent Majority, is very likely to be male. So there's a lot of interesting stuff that these guys dissected, so I'm not going to just read it to you all, but I do want to talk about some of the things that I was thinking that they also mentioned in these posts, but again, they are linked down below. The way that I'm leaning right now, the number one theory I think is that it is this guy. In the fan translation, his name is Musiago. It is Sale Sale's, or Swinko Swinko, the Queen's, guard. So I'm going to put this image up, and this kind of shows who could be within range of Silent Majority, and it also shows, so the Viz translation has the guy labeled as the assassin. They have his name as Mushaho, so I'm going to refer to him as that, and he is Swinko Swinko's guard. So Mushaho, very close to Silent Majority. He's on the opposite side of Benjamin's guard compared to the other bodyguards and maids, which makes him stand out a bit. There's also a piece when all of them are reacting to Barigon getting, choked to death. When all of them react to that, or they all turn around to see Silent Majority, I forget which part it was, but they're all reacting to something. It does not show Mushaho's reaction. He's the only one whose reaction isn't shown, which makes it a bit more suspicious. And also, if you just look within this circle, Barigon appears to be the furthest away from Silent Majority, and if there can only be 10, or Silent Majority stated that there were only 10 within range, if the assassin isn't within this circle, then Barigon would not be able to be attacked, because then there would be 10. Unless, maybe Loberi could be the furthest away, because she is in front of Barigon. Or also, the other way you can interpret this is that if the witness cannot be one of the targets, then that means Barigon would be within the circle, even if the assassin isn't within the circle. Hopefully that isn't too confusing, but I really like this diagram, so props to whoever put that together. I'm going to link to a bunch of Reddit posts, and the image is linked within one of those posts, so I hope I'm giving credit to the right people. One of the other theories that I've seen out there is that this could be Baby Mina's ability, just by the way that he is talking at the end of the chapter. he's analyzing Kurapika and surprised at how he did not react. It also appears that because he released his N, he may have had a change of heart, and we don't really know the exact details of his mission when he was sent over by Benjamin, so that's a possibility as well. But I'm leaning on one of these two, and I'm leaning more heavily on Mushaho. The other thing is that I've seen thrown out there is that the guard, Velrite, whatever, the pro hunter who raised his hand and said, "Yes, I know Nen." I've seen some people saying that he could be Hisoka because there's a heart in his speech bubble when he was talking, and I think that's kind of a silly theory. We'll see, but it definitely holds no weight right now. I think even Prince Tyson had symbols and hearts and stuff when he was talking, she was talking, it was talking. When Prince Tyson was talking, there were also some hearts and stuff like that. So, I don't really care for that theory too much. And, I could be wrong on that, but, there's just not enough evidence to tell. Even though this hunter's mannerisms, when you think about it, they do feel a little bit like Hisoka, but not so much. The other part of this chapter that I wanted to mention, well, actually, before I get to that, quick note, love the design of Silent Majority. All of the snakes all over Silent Majority's outfit, and then the 4 heads on the front where the eyes lit up right before the snakes attacked. And then also, the other thing that I like is on the back of it. I don't know what it's called, if this is a yukata, but the fabric that is tied around Silent Majority's waist on the back of Silent Majority, it looks like the head of a snake, and then the 2 pieces that are tied kind of look like the snake's tongue. So I thought that was a really clever design. But anyways, moving on, the other piece that I wanted to talk about, I've been talking a lot about the Nen mechanics in the past few chapters and how Togashi is introducing new elements of the Nen mechanics or changing them slightly. And the part that I keep going back and forth on is the fact that other people can't see some of these abilities. The owners of the Nen Beast can't see their own Nen Beast and another person's Nen Beast. Kurapika's ability communicates telepathically with Stealth Dolphin when he uses it to grant someone else an ability. Stealth Dolphin is appearing telepathically. And then now we have Silent Majority, which can only be seen by the user and by the person it is possessing. Now, one of the reasons why I think the owner of Silent Majority is in the room is because of that line, the fact that the user can see it. If the user wasn't in the room, this ability is more of, then that means that they can see through the eyes of Silent Majority. So they wouldn't necessarily need to see Silent Majority if they could see through the eyes of Silent Majority. So I think the fact that this is mentioned that, the user can see Silent Majority and the person possessed, I think the person using Silent Majority is in that room. But I digress. Silent Majority can only be seen by the user of the ability and the person it is possessing. So the common factor, would that be the right word? The common factor? The thing that all of these abilities have in common is that they are Nen that is possessing someone other than the original user. So with the ceremony pot, it was the prince's or the king's ancestor who created this ceremony pot, infused it with his Nen, and it has become more powerful after that ancestor's death. It stuck around after that king's death. So it possesses other people. It grants other people abilities. Silent Majority is possessing another individual, not the ability user. And then Kurapika's ability, he is granting someone else an ability, and they are the ones who have to use it. So one of the restrictions, I guess, in all of these Nen abilities is that the original user kind of loses control of what can be done with that ability. It relies on someone else for the ability to be effective. So that could be one of the restrictions that makes it powerful enough to be hidden from someone that is even using Gyo, because the way that we have learned about Nen so far is that it can be hidden from sight using In, but then anyone using Gyo could see it. So there was really no way to completely hide your Nen before this arc. So this is the big thing that all of these Nen abilities have in common. I just haven't seen a lot of people talking about that, so I wanted to bring that up here. Now, that's really all I have for this chapter. I'm sure you've either watched other videos or been on Reddit having discussions with your friends about it, so there's really not too much detail I can add, and I don't want to take away from these beautiful Reddit posts dissecting Silent Majority and just regurgitate them to you. So I do suggest that you go and read them. Trust me, they are worth it. But before I go, the other thing that I wanted to ask, because of course Hunter x Hunter is now on hiatus. I guess I should do predictions for the next chapter, but honestly everyone's going to forget that by the time next chapter rolls around, maybe later this year, according to Togashi's author comments. So whatever, I'm not going to go into that. And I'm sorry if this feels half-assed, guys, but I digress. The other thing I wanted to ask, because last week I mentioned that I may cover, last week in the hiatus video, I mentioned that I may cover other anime and manga, and the one that I brought up is Boku no Hero. Whoops, wrong way. Boku no Hero Academia, because I do really enjoy it, and that's one of the few manga, the only manga besides One Piece that I am completely caught up on. So I mentioned doing some videos about that, but I did have some people who were not interested in that at all. So I want to gauge your guys' interest. So in the comments below, what other manga or anime would you like me to cover? I'll let you know that I'm mostly interested in... I read Promised Neverland up until about chapter 25, and then I fell behind. Still interested in catching up on the Promised Neverland. I am further than the anime in Haikyuu. It's been a little while since I read Haikyuu, but I am further than the anime is, so I would catch up on that. I'm interested in reading Dr. Stone. The other one that I wanted to read was Black Clover, although I may wait for the anime. I've heard like mixed things about Black Clover, like, oh, it got better, oh, it's a Naruto clone. I mean, but if you're gonna clone any anime or manga, like, I don't care about all the crap that Naruto gets. Like, for a long time, it was a fantastic series, and yes, the final arc, fell apart, but overall, I still view Naruto as a fantastic series. So if you're gonna clone anything, might as well aim for one of the greatest in Shonen Jump magazine. So let me know your thoughts on that, or if you have any other manga or anime suggestions that you would like me to cover. I'll tell you one thing, I probably will not cover Berserk. I think there's people who do it a lot better. I won't cover... and I'm so far... I would have to reread Berserk. I read it so many years ago, up to like chapter 300 something, about 309 I think. And then I was like pretty much caught up, and I haven't read since then. So I'd have to like reread half of it to remember where I was at. And I probably will not cover One Piece, because there is a ton of people already covering One Piece, and they do it better than I could, and they probably know a lot more. They know a lot more than I ever could. But other series that you guys are interested in, don't give me a full list. Give me like 3 at the most. That's the max. But let me know in the comments below other anime or manga that you would be interested in seeing me cover. I'll let you know that I feel very strongly about Boku no Hero Academia. Not the quality of it, but that I will cover it, because I want to do that. But let me know anything else you'd like me to talk about. Also, the other thing I want to note is I may be disappearing for just about a week, because we got a hurricane coming to Florida. So I'm preparing for that. I may just fly to a relative's house tomorrow just to get out of the state. Because things could get a little crazy, but hopefully everything turns out okay. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Sorry, if the chapter reaction was, it is late, so not if it was late, but sorry it was so late, and a bit short. Hope you guys understand. Anyways, appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all very soon. Bye.